Hello friends, welcome back to Pollywog's place. Today we're going to turn this pile of scrap wood into another rabbit hutch. Around here, we believe that good wood should never go to waste. Today we're turning another pile of scrap lumber into a rustic rabbit hutch. We scavenged around and even went to Papa's to borrow some wood today. It may not be perfect, but every board has a story and every project helps our little homestead grow. With a few cuts, a handful of screws, and a little patience, this pile of leftovers is becoming a safe new home for some of our rabbits. Simple living isn't about having everything new, it's about making the most of what you've been given. We are adding hardware cloth to this one, which is different from the one we built yesterday because these rabbit cages are actually dog crates, so the bottoms are not made with the same kind of wire. These are a couple that we bought from Tractor Supply, but the bottoms of the dog crates are different. So we're putting this down so that we can remove that pan that's in the bottom and be able to let the droppings fall down like we did with the other one over here. So I'm waiting for the kids to find some staples, but you could actually turn this into a hutch without using cages. Have your cage wire down on the bottom. You see we have some supports in there. Probably run another board straight across the back here for however tall you want the cage to be so that you have something to staple the wire to. Run another board across here, and that way you could staple the wire inside there and then do the same thing so you could staple the wire to the outside framing on both of those. That way, if you're stapling to the inside, the rabbits don't have access to the wood. And then you could add wire dividers and put a top in over top of there and then cut your doorways out on the front side here, however way you wanted them. You could add in more wood for support, or you could just leave it like this, like we did over there, and attach the wire to itself across the front and the back. If you wanted, I mean, you could put a board across the front and make it sturdy, or you could use cage clips to attach it. But that's just another idea for a rabbit hutch like this one. So updated Rabbitry design at the moment. We have a plywood roof on that one. Still waiting for a cage for the middle there. Worm bins are set up. They do not have worms in them yet, but they are set up catching manure at the moment. I've got these two baker's racks. Those are just a temporary thing, just trying something out. I do plan to add something else in this area that we're needing over here. The baker's racks, I was going to use them for doing some sprouted grains and stuff for the chickens. Maybe if I can find some trays to put the azola in, we'll do that as well with those. Not sure yet. But in here we have these two cages that we bought from Tractor Supply. They fit much better on there, allowed us to push the stand back some. So now we are just in the process of temporarily relocating everybody, redoing the little curtain area, and these guys are just cleaning up where we were. We got rid of the trays that were underneath their cages because we lined the bottom of that with hardware cloth, so now they can sit on there. But we got rid of their trays, so we don't have to do that chore anymore. Everything, all their droppings and hay can drop down in them bins. We did add a board to the front where we have the racks running across to hold the totes are still movable, but we put the boards on there to keep them from just sliding off so easy, but we can still move them around if we need to. Same over here. When we add, we're hoping we'll have some more scrap plywood soon to put a roof on this one. And then when we do that, we can add another board across the back of that one just to contain those shelves a little bit easier. But everybody is getting settled in. Everybody's got some ice, some cold water, fresh goodies. Everybody's happy. So we'll come on in and take a quick look. Right now this gate is open because we have the chickens in here cleaning up where we had been taking out the pans and everything in the rabbit cages. But this is the rabbit setup that we built today. Don't mind the couple of things up there on top. But we had two of these dog crates that we had bought before for the rabbits, and
I bought another smaller one. They didn't have the size I wanted, so I just went with that size. And we did put some hardware cloth on the bottom there so that we could remove the trays. And we have the rabbits set up in there. We have the worm bins down there. No worms yet, but that may be a project for tomorrow. This is the rabbit hutch that we built yesterday with the huge grow out cage. We got these cages from Tractor Supply. They're the 30 by 30. I think it's Dumore cages. And they actually fit in this area a lot better. This cage was one that we had over here on the ground, but the chickens were constantly roosting on it, which was not good. No matter what we put on there to keep them off, they kept getting up there. So we were able to get it up here in the stand. And then this is one of the 36-inch cages that we had built before. I had shown the little curtain that we made before to keep the chickens off of there. And then I also took some of the wire shelving that I had around the outside of the pen and hung it up there with zip ties to keep them from roosting on these cages. And this right here is just a temporary setup as well. Didn't want her on the ground, so I put her on top of this old dog crate until I can make another stand to put them on. But it is coming along. The top on this one is plywood. Hoping to have some more scrap plywood here in the next day or two that I can make a top for this one as well. And when that happens, we will get that on there and hopefully eventually be able to enclose this whole little area here so that we have a covered area to work in. But that is it for the updates out here. We thank you guys for taking time out of your busy day to spend time with us. As always, may your roots grow deep and your spirit stay nourished. God bless.